Hey parents and coaches, are your kids using the right glove? The most important skill for youth athletes to learn is how to play proper catch. The problem is, most youth gloves are made with bad leather and are too big for small hands. They actually make it harder to play catch. That's why former Major League Baseball shortstop Kevin Smith created Cali gloves. Cali gloves are crafted from 100% Japanese kip leather and are the perfect size for kids. All Cali gloves come with palm slits, finger loops, and elastic wrist lacing that encourage proper hand placement, the right closing patterns, and give kids more confidence to go make plays. Cali gloves even allow parents to break in the glove without stretching out the fit. It's the glove Kevin wishes he had growing up, and the glove all his teammates want for their kids. Visit caligloves.com to learn more and help your kids play better catch. That's Cali Gloves, K-A-L-I gloves.com.
Welcome to this week's edition of In the Clubhouse with EMD Baseball. I'm Andy Kirikides, joined with my wonderful co-host Keith Glasser. How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. Today, we're going to talk about commitment etiquette. It is that time of year where kids are starting to commit, both at the Division I and the Division III levels, too, as well. And how to do this properly, I think, is something that we may have touched on in the past, but we're going to make it a point of emphasis for this evening, because I do think that there is a way to go about it that will leave a good taste in the mouth of the coaches that you ultimately are going to say no to. So what are your thoughts on this, Coach?
I think the proper thing to do after you decide of what school you're going to, first and foremost, is obviously to call said staff and tell them that you are committing to their school. Then, before you do anything from a social media standpoint, and it doesn't have to be, immediate, right? But within the next 24 hours and before you put anything out on Twitter or Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, any of the other interweb social media platforms that you can find, you should call all of the coaches that have at least expressed more than just an email back to you. Maybe some schools that have offered you, and other schools that maybe you've had a handful of conversations with, and just let them know that you've committed to the school in which it is that you have committed to. It's the right thing to do. It shows good faith. It also, instead of them finding out via Twitter, it doesn't burn that bridge, right? It's a tough thing to do, but there is the easiest thing to do is just to make the phone call, tell them 99.999, repeating, of course, percent of the time, the coaches will say, hey, thanks for the phone call. I wish you the best of luck. Let us know if anything changes. And that's not really an empty statement. Really, like, if something was to change, whether in a month or a year or 3 years or 4 years, and you want a post grad there, it's not an empty statement. You should reach out, if you want to, and you really enjoyed that place and think that might be a fit for you later on down the road. That's fine. But that's the right thing to do. And then once you've, at least let them know, you might not get everyone on the phone, leave a voicemail. But once you've done that, then you're free and clear to go ahead and post whatever you want and tell the world where it is that you plan on playing baseball for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be a long conversation because I think it really is that straightforward, right? These coaches, they spend enough time recruiting you, talking to you on the phone. Maybe you've taken a visit, and you owe them the common courtesy of letting them know firsthand that you're going to make a decision to go somewhere else. The last thing you want is for those coaches to find out on social media that you planned on going somewhere else. It's just a good way to handle yourself. It is the uncomfortable part of this process. With that being said, if you're in a situation where you have to call several coaches to tell them, hey, I'm going somewhere else, Your recruiting process probably was fairly successful. Um, but give them the common courtesy, show them the respect that they deserve in terms of letting them know firsthand from you. And don't rush to make that commitment post. If it takes you 48 hours to track guys down and get on the phone with coaches and be able to tell them, take your time with that. There's no rush. I know it's exciting to be able to put that post up, but at the end of the day, I think it's more important to handle this like an adult, handle it professionally, and make sure that you leave a good taste in the mouth of those coaches that spend enough time to recruit you. As far as the post goes, um, what I would say is make sure you give a shout out to some people that help you throughout the process, right? I think that that's important. Your high school coaches, your high school program, your travel program. Maybe it's somebody who helped you out throughout the recruiting process. Like very few kids go at this alone, right? And I think it's just good practice to acknowledge the people that help you. So be able to, don't hesitate to tag some of those coaches and some of the people that have helped you. They deserve a little bit of recognition. None of this comes together by itself. So make sure you make it a thoughtful post. Include the people that matter. Thank mom and dad, of course, and but just be thoughtful about how you handle it, and don't rush to get to that post without doing exactly what Coach Glass said, which is you need to follow up with these coaches and let them know you made a decision. They deserve that, and uh, it's just the right way to handle it.
Sure. I think that it is as straightforward as we're saying it is. I think there can be some anxiety around the fact of calling coaches and telling them that you're going somewhere else, which is completely normal. On the same hand, it's the right thing to do. And again, every time anyone ever called me to tell me that they were not coming to West Alabama, Siena, RPI, it was always met with hey, appreciate the phone call and letting us know. I wish you the best of luck. Let us know if there's anything that changes in the future. So it's just the right thing to do. You're not really, again, coaches here know more than they say yes. So it's not something that is really going to be a detriment to the conversation or to you. Obviously the coaches are going to be a little like, gosh, I wish we got that kid. That one stings a little bit because you do develop the relationship. But on the same hand, you usually have a pretty good feeling as to whether or not you're going to get them. In 99.9 times when you get a text that says like, hey, do you have a couple minutes to talk? You know what it is. You know that you're, for lack of a better term, getting broken up with, and they're not going to be playing baseball at your program. So it's again, I think there can be some anxiety around the phone call, but it's the right thing to do, and it kind of it preps you for other times trying to have starting to have some tough conversations. And again, it's not really a tough conversation. It's just, hey, I really appreciate you seeing interest in me and recruiting me and taking the time and to talk on the phone and show me around campus, whatever it might be. Really do appreciate that, but I'm going to Marist College, and again, I appreciate it and I wish you the best of luck. And they're going to say something to the effect of, thanks for letting me know, appreciate it, and wish you the best. Let us know if anything else changes in the future. So, super easy to do, but, I think it's necessary. I think it is very necessary, because I think that if you don't do that, or at least attempt to do that, and, there's many times that I found out that kids were going to another school on X or Twitter, formerly Twitter, X, whatever we call it. And that, it's not necessarily the best way to find out that someone you spent, some time on, the phone with, showing them around campus, meeting with their family, that they're not coming to your school. So that the right thing to do is to at least acknowledge the fact that they took the time, energy, and effort to do that, and thank them for it.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I'll add is that if you do end up in a situation where you make a phone call to the coach and the coach is less than pleased that you're not going there, it probably just reinforces the fact that wasn't the right place for you. This, like you said, as a coach, you get told no way more than people think. And as somebody who's supposed to be the adult in the room, I think it's important to acknowledge and respect the decision that a kid makes. And you don't always come out on top in the recruiting process. So if you do run into that situation, like I said, it kind of hammers home that probably isn't the right fit, and handle it calmly and move on, and enjoy the place that you're going to go play at, because you probably made the right decision that way. So, but don't rush to make the post. I think that's and making sure you follow up with coaches is really the message here. It's the right thing to do. So, anything else you want to add, Coach?
Nope.
All right. Short and sweet today. Hope that gave you a little bit of guidance on how to handle this. I hope for you listeners, you get to make these phone calls, because that means some things went right. But tune in next week, and we will talk to you then. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening this week. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and smash that like button for us. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at EMD Baseball. If you want to find out what me and Keith do to help families and players navigate the recruiting process, go ahead and check us out on emdbaseball.com. Take a few minutes to check out our new online academy. I promise you'll get some good information out of that. Thanks again for listening. Check in with you next week.